Focus. A key component of success. The ability to solely direct your attention onto one thing and one thing only. And I think in the current world we live in the current society we live in, there's so much that goes on around us. There's so many things happening at once. Even with this whole technology, with social media, and with everything else that tech comes with, it's easy to get distracted in today's world. It's very easy to get consumed in very small medial things that really don't contribute to our lives. And I think now more than ever, we need to develop and enhance our focus. We need to just train that part of our mind, because I believe that intrinsically a lot of things are skills. We're not born with focus. We're not born with the ability or the lack of ability to focus, but rather it's something that we train over time, something that we improve on over time. Obviously, with the right exercise and exertion. So today I just wanted to chat on focus. I think it's an area and it's a topic that has been quite relevant for me for a number of years. It's something that I've been looking to improve in myself as well, within all the books that I read and throughout all the tasks that I do. I always look to just, I think, enhance and improve my focus, because I deeply know and understand that in my own journey and sort of where I'm trying to go, where I'm trying, to push towards, focus is such an integral element of that. So yeah, let's start. Let's break it down, and I think let's get to the very basics of things and actually understand what is focus. What does focus entail? What does focus mean for us? And just get a sort of a rough definition of it. So I believe, in my experience, how I understand focus, and I think I did mention it sort of at the beginning, but it's your ability to exert all your attention onto one thing and one thing only. I truly believe that's focus. And obviously when I speak about exerting your attention onto one thing and one thing only, I think there's so many different applications of this. Very early on in my journey, I always used to think that focus is essentially prioritizing one thing in your life. That's how I used to see focus, and that's sort of where I thought they were coming from when they said you need focus. But I think over the years and through experience and through everything that I read, I've sort of adapted that definition into understanding that it's not necessarily prioritizing one thing in your life, but it's more focusing on one thing at a time. It's the ability to focus and put in all your energy onto what you're doing now, the task that you're partaking in. And I think focus, it's gonna sound it's gonna sound like an interesting statement, this one, but I think focus really helps us promote all-around wellness and helps us sort of prioritize and enhance all the different areas in our lives. Because with focus, you need to have the ability to put all of your attention and everything you have into the task that you're doing. And this can range from whether you're sort of working your 9-to-5 job, just having the presence of mind to be able to just root your attention onto the job, onto the tasks of the day, and whatever you're prioritizing to get done in the day, getting those done in sequential order as opposed to multitasking. Or whether it's, of course, just pushing your own craft in your own time, whether you're recording videos, creating content, or whether you're building a business. But essentially understanding what tasks you need to get done and being able to focus on each and every single one of those tasks in the sort of time period that you allocate. And I think even more importantly, when spending time with your family, when spending time with your friends as well, just being able to solely focus all your attention and everything you have onto the engagement, onto the event that you're at, or onto sort of just being present in the moment. Because I think we have a bit of a bad tendency of spending a bit too much time on this, spending too much time on your phone, and I think that ends up detracting a lot of attention and a lot of focus off what you're doing now. And I think this particularly affects our relationships. So it's definitely something that I've also sort of been, I think, sort of struggling with, but I think more so just looking to improve consistently and constantly throughout the years, throughout the months. And it's something that I put a lot of conscious effort into. Of course, I myself, I'm far from perfect. I don't think we'll ever get to the point of perfection and complete focus. I think no matter where you are in your journey, you'll always struggle with, these bits of procrastination here and there, these bits of just, detracting your focus and stuff like that. But I think we have so many tools at our disposal that we're not really aware of in improving our focus, improving the attention we give things. And I think the more focus you have, the better your ability to focus, then the more successful you end up being, not just within, be it business, your job, whatever, but I think within your relationships as well, within your personal life, within your spiritual life, emotionally, mentally, physically as well. I think you really create a better life for yourself when you're able to just solely direct your attention onto one thing. But it's all well and good for me to chat about focus, tell you how important it is, but I think what's more important actually is how do we go about focusing? How do we go about improving our attention? How do we go about actually building that skill in ourselves, in our minds, for of course our betterment? I think first up, something that's so important, and I've picked it up in almost every single book that I read, because I think a lot of the books I read are geared towards self-development, are geared towards, especially the mindset, or, just tangible skills needed within the journey. And a lot of the books end up just overlapping in terms of all the lessons that I end up just picking up and learning from the book. And one of the biggest overlaps that I always get and I always come across is meditation. And I think I was someone who, I was a bit skeptical of meditation. I thought it was just sort of a nice to have, something that, was good for you to do, but not necessarily too important. I think I never used to prioritize meditation too much in my life. But I can honestly say that the majority of successful people meditate. The majority of people who perform highly within their respective field, within their respective life, meditate. And I think meditation just gives you, I think first of all, just peace of mind and the ability to just clear your cache every single day. Obviously, and I think I always use this example, but an operation of a laptop is highly dependent on its processing capacity. And of course, now if that processing capacity is just full, is full of applications running, or is full of things just running in the background, or whatever it may be, then the laptop will perform slower. The laptop will not do its job as effectively as it can. And this literally all boils down to sort of the processing capacity, and not just the capacity itself, but essentially what is within the capacity and how freed up the capacity is. I think a pro tip for computer usage is always, just clearing out the cache or closing your windows, browsers, all that stuff, and trying to keep a minimalistic view to ensure high performance of your laptop. And this applies to us because at the end of the day, we as humans are systems. We as humans operate literally as systems. We are one of the most complex systems known to man. And our performance, once again, is dependent on how we utilize our capacity. If your capacity is always full to the brim and is just constantly processing things day in, day out, throughout the day, throughout the night, then your processing speed slows down. The ability of things you're able to do slows down and reduces. And I think a lot of these things we don't actually see for ourselves, but they sort of come to produce themselves in the results that we're seeing. And I think even just contribute to burnout, something that is very relevant in our society and is in today's age. Of course, we're as busy as ever, and it's as easy as ever to burn out and just lose a bit of yourself in the journey. And I think that's one of the most painful things to go through. So meditation just allows you to just refresh your mind, just clear all that clutter, whatever's going on in your mind, just get that out and essentially just start your sort of days on a new slate completely and honestly. Of course you can physically move on to different tasks, so you can physically go and do something else, but what goes on in your mind needs to be refreshed. And obviously it's not the only way, but one of the most effective and best ways is through meditation. And how I meditate may not necessarily be the same as what works for you. That's also very important to understand. There's not one sole way to meditate. There's multiple ways. And I'm still exploring sort of the best method and the best way for myself. So guys, meditation is something I can speak on for 20 hours. So I'll probably make a whole other video on that. But I think just to touch base with this very important topic, just take some time and prioritize meditation in your own life. Something that I'm also just trying to really just get that habit built. Of course, a lot of the things I mention here are things that I'm also still working on. Once again, I'll always say we're not perfect. It's a continuous and constant journey in self-improvement and in just getting better. So see focus as that as well, and all these different things, see them as skills that you need to improve on in yourself. And I think one of the last things that I want to touch on, focus is such an in-depth topic, and I really can't speak on this for a very long time, but I think I just want to highlight a few points here and there. But I think you need to start building in yourself the ability to create silos of work and be able to sort of solely focus your attention on each and every single thing that you do, pushing distractions aside. And I'd even say go as far as creating time for distraction, creating time for all these little things that pop up that sort of pull our attention away. I think as opposed to having these things interrupt your day and interrupt your flow state, create a time for all these distractions, create a time to attend to all these little things, these things that pop up, and just sort them all out in that time period. Give your attention to these things in that time period. But when you start working, when you start engaging with people, spending time with friends, family, when you start going to your job, or whatever you're meant to focus your attention on, focus your attention on that. Fully commit to that. Let nothing else pull your attention away. You need to improve the skill in yourself. It is literally, I think, one of the hardest skills to sort of develop, because it does tie into sort of discipline, but the better this skill is in yourself, literally there is a direct correlation to your ability to focus and success, a very direct correlation. So the better you're able to focus, the better you're able to push away distraction, the better you're able to sort of just solely do the task that you're doing within the silo, the more successful you'll be at whatever you're doing. Literally, obviously it's easier said than done, but I think this is literally the sort of foundation for success. Of course, hard work is important, guys. And I'll always say this, hard work, I think at this point in time, I will no longer mention hard work just because it's intrinsically important. I think you can't do anything without hard work. So that just goes without saying. You have to work hard. But I think, yes, you can work hard, but if you're not focused, you don't direct that hard work in a positive direction. I think that's very important to understand. So, really train this in yourself. I always believe that it's the small things that matter. It's the small little things that you incrementally do that matter and build to your journey, build to your success, build to your self-image as well, and just get you to that place that you want to get to. So I hope this has been of value today. I thought it was quite an important topic to chat about. I thought it's quite relevant, especially in starting off the year. I think just getting that solid foundation and starting on the right footing and working in the right direction and just improving these little things for ourselves will really just make this year a year to remember. So I hope you've enjoyed. I hope I've brought you a bit of value, a bit of perspective as always. If you've enjoyed this one, please guys, do just drop a like, and let me know in the comments whether you struggle with your focus and particularly what you struggle with within focus. I'm very interested to know that. And of course, if you haven't, drop a subscription for the channel. And as always, guys, until the next one, let's continue on our journey in creating a better world.